Hello, everyone, and welcome to week number 6, Space Coast Chalk Talk. I'm your host, Ron Lighthall. We start with a pair of winless teams as Larry Laskowski and his Rockledge Raiders, coming off a bye week, they travel to the Astronaut War Eagles, where Randy Halleck has his team 0-4. They've allowed 130 points to be scored against them. Rockledge has only allowed 71 points. Rockledge can move the ball. Astronaut just struggles defensively. Look for Rockledge to go home with the win. Space Coast at Jones. Space Coast has a little bit of an inflated record right now, playing some easier teams. Jones plays, of course, in Orlando. They sit at 2-3. Space Coast sits at 4-1. Look for Coach Owens to have his team extremely well prepared, but I don't think they have enough to come home with the victory against a much stronger Jones. However, Cocoa 3-1 at Cocoa Beach 0-4. This is probably one of the easiest calls of the week. Cocoa Tigers will be all over Cocoa Beach. This is one of those games you just got to hope for very little injuries. The Minutemen have struggled dearly this year, and Cocoa just has way too many weapons. Merritt Island at Satellite. Satellite did play spoiler last week for O'Galley. O'Galley's homecoming. Satellite coming out with the victory. Satellite was able to move the ball very well. Look for them to put up a tough fight against Merritt Island, who's coming off a very tough loss against the Oviedo Lions. Oviedo just had way too many weapons. A lot of D1 prospects. Merritt Island got beat up badly, but look for them to rebound, and of course defense is going to be key for Merritt Island. Vieira at O'Galley. Like we said, O'Galley coming off that homecoming loss. They sit at 3-2, but Tim Powers will have his team back and ready to play. Last week, Vieira had their victory against Astronaut, so they're going to have a pretty well-rested team. They sit at 4-0. Look for Vieira to dominate on offense and dominate on defense. You really got to put all your chips in on the Vieira Hawks. Holy Trinity is on the road to Orlando as they're hosted by a 3-2 Trinity Prep squad. This will be the first real test for Holy Trinity as they're on the road. Trinity Prep is always tough, but this will really tell where Holy Trinity sits. MCC hosts First Academy. First Academy is at 4-1. MCC 4-0. MCC just scores in absolute huge chunks. They're going to be at home. Look for MCC to really dominate this. I think they're going to go up big. Halftime will be the key. They'll make adjustments, but First Academy is always tough, but MCC will hold the edge as they are very, very tough this year. Too much talent. Titusville is on the road in Palm Bay, another district game. Titusville is extremely well coached. They sit at 3-1 right now. Palm Bay is 4-0. Titusville is playing very good fundamental football. They're coming off a game that was canceled, so more or less a bye week for them. So they're going to be extremely well rested. Palm Bay put an absolute shellacking on the Treasure Coast team last week, but Palm Bay is at home. Look for Palm Bay with the victory there. Port St. Lucie is at Heritage. Port St. Lucie Jaguars against the Heritage Panthers. This is really going to be a cat fight, literally and figuratively, as Port St. Lucie is 0-3 and Heritage sits at 3-1. Heritage is just going to be too much for Port St. Lucie Jaguars. Look for Heritage Panthers to roll. Bayside is on the road against Jensen Beach. The Falcons are 1-4. The Bayside sitting right now at 4-0. They're going to be just too strong for Jensen Beach. Jensen Beach just doesn't have enough weapons to get that done. So look for Bayside to come home with win number 5 for Bayside. Thank you for joining Space Coast Chalk Talk. Remember, catch this Friday night's feature game. It is going to be Merritt Island at Satellite Beach. Look for that game on Brevard-Online.com. You can also catch it directly at WRDJ.com. Just click the listen button. Once again, Space Coast Chalk Talk is a presentation of Brevard-Online.com.